I was challenged by Design Bro, a graphic design marketplace, to go up against 4 of their top designers to see who could create the best design. And here's how it went. All designers were given the brief and told we had 7 days to get it done. The task? Design a logo and packaging for an energy bar. With the clock ticking, I got to work and started on the design of the logo type. My first point of action was dissecting the brief to get an understanding of what the client wanted. I then created a word map, writing down words that are associated with the business and their product. This helped me form some ideas for customizing the logo type. From my research, the word heart stood out, and even though this might have been an obvious choice, with the brand's name being Pumpin', I reminded myself that the best logos are simple and contain subtle customization. Plus, with Google's definition of the heart being the most powerful source of electromagnetic energy within the human body, it relates nicely to the brief and the business's mission of providing a source of energy to those who need a boost. After I had decided on the creative direction, I sourced a font and got to work on the design of the logo type. I first adjusted the space between each letter to create that tension, then had a play around with different letters to see how a heart could be incorporated. The letter M worked best for this, so I grabbed the pencil tool and started customizing this letter so the heart would form in the negative space. After tidying this up with the curvature tool, I made sure that the rest of the characteristics of the M stay consistent with the remaining letters. Otherwise, it may have caused readability issues or type inconsistency, which you never want within a logo design. With the logo type done, it was time to shift my focus onto the packaging. And I knew I'd have to bring my A game with this challenge because Design Bro are known for only working with the top 5% of designers. Meaning the people I was up against were going to produce agency quality work. Now, with this spur of motivation from not wanting to get beaten, for those who don't know, I am very competitive. I put my head down and got straight to work on the packaging concept. I started by looking at the business's competitors to see what the current market was offering, so I could then identify what works and discover some ways to make Pumpin' stand out. Now, this is super important because they will be placed right next to their competitors in grocery stores, and I didn't want my design to get lost amongst competitors. After this, I moved on to the color palette. Now, in this brief, it mentioned the product is aimed towards millennials and Gen Z. When a product aims to target a larger demographic, it can be really tricky to get right, as you need to select the colors that not only go with the brand's tone of voice, but also attract the different audiences. So after I decided on the colors, it was time to do the layout for the packaging. Now, this included the logo type, ingredients, and other design assets. There can often be a lot of information needed on food packaging, making it difficult to come up with the perfect layout. But after creating multiple concepts, I landed on one that felt just right. But it didn't stop there, because within the brief, it mentioned that they also required packaging for a Halloween edition of their bar, meaning that the original design had to be adjustable for different variations and flavors. To get this spooky Halloween feeling, I adjusted the colors and imagery. Now, because this is catered towards adults, I stayed away from anything too cartoony. Instead, I chose to add a subtle spider web in the background. Now that I have finished the design, it is time to face my competition and see how my work compares. First up, we have Alice. So there is some great use of the colored waves to represent energy and the heart beating, which fits really nicely with that name, Pumpin'. Now, the choice of typography really stands out to me. The thick letters work well because when things are pumped, they are enlarged and they inflate. I also like how each letter is placed within a logo type, kind of making it look like it is bouncing. Now, the only thing that I would change is a slight readability issue with the ingredients. So to help with these, the graphics behind could be adjusted or just move slightly so that the wording fits nicely within that space. Next up is Emma. So there is some great use of imagery to show the ingredients within the bar, which then makes it easier for the consumer to know the flavor. Then the glow effect on the logo type is such a nice touch. This really helps it stand out against all of that noise in the background. I also really like that 3D effect on the logo type as it creates that kind of pumping movement, which works great with the name. The only thing that I feel that is lacking is kind of a buzz of energy that you'd get from eating an energy bar. So they could just adjust the colors to something more vibrant, or maybe add some movement in the background could work well. The third design is from Rich. Now the lightning bolt works really nicely for that apostrophe, and then I really like how that same bolt is then placed behind the logo type, creating a really nice consistency within the packaging. I also like the simplicity of the bar. Sometimes keeping things nice and simple can work against competitors that overcrowd their packaging on shelves. Now this packaging layout can be easily used for other flavors, which is really key. Now although the customization of the P is really creative, the brief states that it needs to cater towards both females and males, and with this direction it feels a little bit more masculine, so I'd maybe look at adjusting the logo or colors to fit in with both of the audiences. And finally we have Harry's. So his custom logo type really stands out to me. This type was actually hand created by him, and the closeness of each letter creates that really nice tension relating back to energy and that pumping feeling, which is really great. So the colors work really nicely with the tone of the brand. You can literally feel all of that energy coming through the bar, coming at you. Now there's only a few things that I would possibly tweak. The first being that because the typography is quite playful, the background, especially on the pumpkin variation, could be simplified so that the main focus is on that beautiful typography. Then something else to consider is that the design layout should be consistent on each bar. So at the moment the original logo is horizontal, and then on the pumpkin packaging the logo is vertical. So I just adjust the layout so that they match and keep nice and consistent with one another. Now it is time to see mine. How do you think I did? If we put mine up against all of the other designs, I don't think I did too bad at all. But now it is time to vote for a winner. I won't be included within this vote as each finalist will receive money, with the winner receiving the most, and I don't want to take the opportunity away from the designers. But if you'd like me to be included within the voting in the future, let me know in the comments. Now go and use the first link in the description and get voting for your favorite. If you want to see my previous attempt at this challenge, go and watch this video here where I go up against pro designers to see how my work would compare.